So the two best chances Republicans have of picking an alternative to Trump, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, had their last chance to appeal to voters last night ahead of the Iowa caucuses next week. The two shook hands to start, but it became a battle for who could be the toughest on stage as they traded insults. Take a look.
We don't need another mealy-mouthed politician who just tells you what she thinks you want to hear just to try to get your vote.
But every time he lies, Drake University, don't turn this into a drinking game because you will be overserved by the end of the night.
One good rule of thumb, if she says she's never said something, that definitely means she said it. And then she'll say, you're lying, you're lying. That means not only did she say it, but she's on videotape saying it.
Got $150 million and you've gone down in the polls in Iowa. Why should we think you can manage or do anything in this country?
Ooh, so DBL Nation, we always want to hear from you. Who do you think won last night's debate? Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, or let's throw in former President Trump, who wasn't even there, but he was on Fox. We'll talk about that. Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. All right, what do we think of these candidates last night? You're shaking your head. Tell me.
I thought Nikki won, but, you know, looking at this, apparently Democrats thought Nikki won, and, you know, people that usually lean Republicans thought DeSantis did, and then we have, obviously, both sides here at DBL behind the scenes, and the person behind the scenes that I'm referencing thought that DeSantis won. So I think that for his goal, which is the Republican Party, it looks like he's the winner.
However, if neither of us can say right now who won, no one won.
I thought Nikki Haley won.
A lot, but a lot
again,
of people.
I'm a Democrat.
Right, and the Republicans strongly felt DeSantis took over and won and outperformed, right? That's the consensus.
What did you think as someone who lives and breathes politics?
I think Nikki Haley comes across as more of a human being. I think Ron DeSantis has never appealed to me because he's never looked at across the TV and I felt like he's talking to me. I think Nikki does a better job. Republicans, though, think a different thing. But the fact that no one won sort of denounces and silences and erases the whole debate. Because what does it matter? Trump's the winner.
I think it matters for DeSantis. I think he came from kind of nowhere. I mean, remember, we thought he was going to drop out of the race
DeSantis
a couple
is
months
going
ago.
nowhere.
He was polling in the single digits.
I know, but at this point, even New Hampshire, Haley is winning tremendously. I'm telling you, DeSantis is running out of money, and what I see is the people and personnel on his team are scrambling. Never a good look for a candidate.
Before we get to Trump, who did you think you were more in line with when you heard Nikki Haley speak last night and Ron DeSantis?
Neither. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree with him.
This is the WNBA, and we're about to get to the NBA, which is Trump. Nobody cares what's happening over here. I don't like all the bickering, just to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think either of them won, but it doesn't matter. If there is a winner, you're still so far behind Trump, it doesn't even matter.
Okay.
It's just noise.
Yeah.
We do have, I want to show you this real quick.
That election, Trump lost it. Biden won that election. And the idea that he's gone and carried this out forever to the point that he's going to continue to say these things to scare the American people are wrong. I think what happened on January 6th was a terrible day, and I think President Trump will have to answer for it.
But I think there's a larger issue Republicans have got to think of it. Donald Trump's going to lose that appeal. He's going to end up going to trial in front of a stacked left-wing D.C. jury of all Democrats. I don't think he gets through that. And so what are we going to do as Republicans in terms of who we nominate for president?
Okay, so this was a difference.
Real quickly, I'm glad we played that, because if that is the case and Trump does not make it through and somehow they poll him from the election, I guess it does matter.
Yes.
So I do redact what I say a little bit.
And I think that's their calculations as well.
Yes, yeah. So that's true. I'm glad we played that.
Because this is the first time, and Tori, please, before we move on, this is the first time that we've seen Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, who have been Nikki Haley more so, but delicate and criticizing Trump. Was this enough of a criticism?
No.
Not at all in your book?
If you're going against the dragon and you're poking with toothpicks, you've got to slay. If you're going to go against Trump, you kind of got to play his game. Otherwise, he's going to crush you. They were like, yeah, he did this, but I still like him. Oh, I did this, I still like him. If you do that, you're not really fighting and mudslinging in real politics. That's what Trump does.
Okay, so let's talk about Trump.
You can't lose that base, though.
We got it. We're going to first. I want to take a look at what our audience is saying. 56% of you believe Nikki Haley won. 11% Ron DeSantis. 33% Trump, because over on Fox last night, Trump had a town hall where he took questions from the audience. At one point saying he knows who his VP pick is, but he did not reveal who that is. Trump's also making headlines for what he said about a very hot button issue, abortion. Take a listen to what he said.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it. They wanted to get it back, right? You wouldn't have that. There would be no question. Nobody else was going to get that done but me.
Yeah.
And we did it.
So Trump also said he supports exemptions to abortion and noted that they need to win elections. So what do you all think of these comments? Tori, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, he knows this is a losing issue. You can hear his voice go back a little bit. You know why? 25, 30 years ago, Trump is on video saying he's very pro-choice. He goes where the wind goes. And if you are that way with abortion, it's not going to work. Also, abortion is not a winning issue. I cannot scream that from the rooftops or not. It is not a politics issue. It is a female gender issue. And it comes down to Republican moms and their daughters not wanting the government in their doctor's offices. We are way more pro-choice in the majority of America than these Republicans think. It is a losing issue. Trump knows it. He's pulling back a little bit. I promise you he's going to pick.
But why is he owning it then?
I think he's owning it, but he's like, but there are exceptions, which is as farther that any other Republican has gone, right? He also is going to pick a VP. My personal thought is Nancy Mace, and she has overtly said abortion is not a winning issue. So expect, in my opinion, for him to back off this. This isn't going to win you votes at all. This is a losing issue. Roe v. Wade being overturned is not going to get you votes, in my opinion.
Wow. Really quickly, I want to hear from both of you, but then I have another question for Tori. But what did you think about Trump last night on Fox News? Do you think that because he had almost double the viewership as what we saw over at CNN, but what did you think?
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to compliment Trump in any sort of way in national television shows, so you can't have that conversation, unfortunately, because you get labeled certain things. So I'll bash him a little bit for all you guys out there. Here's my thing. I don't like that Republicans, and I've said this on the show before, and it's not my point of view, but I've heard it, and I'm like, wow, that really makes sense. Republicans shouldn't be touting this Roe v. Wade.
Right.
For me, I think it's an
issue.
I've seen my wife again, said this on the show many times, I've watched my wife give birth twice. It is 100% up to her what she wants to do with her body, and that, you know, it is. And I understand people feel a different way, and I don't know why that's such a Republican issue, but to keep pushing it and then put a stamp on it like I'm the one who did this isn't a good look for the Republican Party or Trump. But let me finish. On the opposite side of that, if you were pushing on the Democratic side of that, hey, I'm the one who started defund the police, that was a horrible issue for them. And people jumped on that. Now I think it's going into the border. And people, if you want to put your stamp on open borders, I don't think that's a good look. I don't think that's a good look for the Democratic side. And I don't think Roe v. Wade is a good look for the Republican side. That's just my personal point of view.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to cut you off.
You
asked a question and you said, why is it a political issue now? And I did some research on that because I'm a nerd. And basically, you know, religious folks, especially Catholics, used to always vote Democrat, and so they had to split that vote. And one thing that a lot of Catholics weren't with is abortion. So they started bringing that in the Republican Party just to kind of split the Democratic Party because they always had that, because they had the Catholics, the unions back in the 70s and 80s, and so they had to split that vote because they were getting killed in elections.
No, totally. And I'm Catholic, though, but why can't I have my own point of view without being labeled this or that?
No, they want you to. They just
want
you, but they just understand that they want to just split the Catholics. So if it's you and your wife, maybe your wife votes Republican now. So they're like, we just want to half it.
Make up your own mind about what you like, what things you like, what you don't like, and have your own point of view. Society puts too much weight and pressure and judgment on what you think. You don't know what people think they know what I think. They don't. I'm all about independence. RFK Jr.
All right, let's see again what our viewers say. Who won last night? Nikki Haley won our poll, 56%, followed by Donald Trump at 36%, and Ron DeSantis in last at 8%, I believe it was.